Celebrating the sport of fitness. Intros for heat number 3.
Kenny Leverett. In lane 3 from CrossFit Intensify, Ben Stoneberg. In lane 4 from CrossFit Omaha, Kyle Kasperbauer. In lane 5 from CrossFit Tampere, Mikko Arapa. In lane 6 from Reebok CrossFit Reykjavik, Iceland, Norway's own Fredrik Aginius. In lane 7 from CrossFit Mayhem, Dan Bailey. In lane 8 from CrossFit Verve, Matt Chan. In lane 9 from TJ's Gym, Marcus Philly. And in lane 10 from CrossFit Grandview, your 2010 champ, Graham Holberg.
So a couple of men who have stood on the podium here at the CrossFit Games in this third heat. That man, Graham Holberg, the 2010 CrossFit Games champion, and then Matt Chan, who finished second last year. But in lane number 2, Kenneth Leverett out of Southern California is a man who excels at things like a legless rope climb.
He's just a crazy acrobat, this kid. You know, last year we saw him in the Pendleton in the Oak course. He was crazy. He did crazy dives and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was amazing what he could do. I've seen him regularly, even when we were warming up at the regionals. He'd jump up onto the rings and do muscled up handstands like no big deal. I mean, it's not a problem for him. So he likes this kind of funky stuff. I'm looking to see a good show from him.
Dan Bailey will work out of lane 7 wearing those compression sleeves. Probably trying to save his biceps as he knows he's going to be doing a lot of pulling here.
Yeah, I think it's just going to kind of like protect his elbows a little bit, just kind of keep that joint nice and tight as he's holding on. He's going up to those ropes. But it's going to be amazing to see what he can do in this event.
Heat 3 of 5 underway. The time to beat is still Gary Helmick, who did that in the first heat. 6 minutes, 8 seconds flat as the athletes open up with their initial set of 27 thrusters at 95 pounds.
You know, I'm going to think that these guys, as we start getting into later heats, they saw some of the times the last guys were putting up, so they're like, oh, maybe I need to go a little bit faster on those thrusters. You can see the tempo's a little quicker here than what I would have thought, or at least was definitely showing in the last couple heats. They're moving. Again, they don't want to blow out, but they need to move right now.
Kenneth Leverett is maintaining a lead over Graham Holberg, but now it's Holberg back in front. Ben Stoneberg is there as well. 27 repetitions here. Graham Holberg still looking smooth. He has yet to put the bar down. Ben Stoneberg hasn't either, and Kenneth Leverett as well. Now through 27 reps. He has one more. The judge telling him he has one more repetition, so he miscounted. So one more for Leverett. Now he, Ben Stoneberg, Marcus Philly, and Graham Holberg are all moving on to the rope. So Leverett up very quickly on that first rope climb, wasting no time, and now Leverett getting to work on his second rope climb.
You know, again, Kenny is extremely good at these kind of movements. What he needs to be careful is he doesn't jump out too fast. You don't want to burn out. The last thing you want to see is someone we saw with Jason Kleber last year with the handstand push-ups. You hit a failure, then all of a sudden you have to sit and rest. He doesn't want to have that happen. As long as he stays nice and smooth here, gives himself just enough rest to move on, he's going to do well.
So Leverett in lane 2 is battling former champ Graham Holberg at the other end of the floor in lane 10. The two of them have gotten through their 4 rope climbs. Graham Holberg now making the descent on his 4th. So Holberg and Leverett, the first 2 men to the barbell as we approach the 2-minute mark. 10-minute time cap here. The time to beat 6:08. It belongs to Gary Helmick.
See, both these athletes are moving smooth right now, nice and calm. They know what this is. You saw Graham Holbert take a nice breath just to kind of recuperate a little bit, relax, and then get into this. I don't think we're going to see many people go straight through on 21. I think here's where we start to break it up, because they realize that this is not the race. Don't waste yourself here. It's all about the rope climbs.
Matt Chan and Dan Bailey battling for third. Matt Chan back to the barbell for his 21 thrusters. He finished second in the Reebok CrossFit Games in 2012. And his wife is part of our analyst team, Cherie, looking on from the analyst desk, watching her husband, trying to remain as calm and as impartial as possible. But Matt Chan trying to repeat and improve on his performance last year when he became the oldest man to stand at the podium at the CrossFit Games.
You know, Matt's always been a great athlete, a lot, crowd favorite. He's just such a hard worker and so determined all the time. It's great to see him out here, and obviously we want to see him back up on the podium again.
So it's Holmberg and Leverett. They're battling for first place. Graham Holmberg holding off Kenneth Leverett as Holmberg is through his first of 3 rope climbs right before Leverett, and smartly moving the chalk bucket with him, chalking his hands. Now here's where pacing is very important.
You know, he's stopping right now. You got to rest. You have to know when it's time to go. What you don't want to do, and even though he's got a great kip right here, man, when your arms are straight, that means that everything is on your grip. But he's pulling that in about 4 to 5 reaches every single time. That's impressive.
Holmberg and Leverett. Holmberg on your right, Leverett on your left. They're battling for first. Behind them, it's Matt Chan and Dan Bailey and Frederick Agidius all battling it out for third place, as Dan Bailey trying to catch his breath before he makes his ascent up that rope.
You know, Dan Bailey's he's trained with the best that there is for so long. Wow, he moved up that quickly. You know what he wants, just like everyone else. They want to get to the podium. He needs to get his shot in the spotlight one of these times. He's tired of being 6th place, wants to get up there.
Kenneth Leverett is done with his 3 rope climbs and now 15 thrusters before 2 more rope climbs, and Leverett's very smooth on this set of thrusters.
You know, it's the weird movements. You know, the rope climb in this thruster here. He was the one that had the best time in the world out of all the regionals in that burpee muscle up. So anything weird like this, you have to know that he's going to come out firing, and he just looks so solid right now.
Meanwhile, Matt Chan and Graham Holmberg are battling for second place. Holmberg is through 8 reps. Matt Chan has just picked up the barbell. So Chan gaining ground on Graham Holmberg as Kenneth Leverett moves on to his 2 rope climbs. Matt Chan setting a good pace here. He's now through 7, now through 8 repetitions. Leverett's on the left, Chan is on the right.
Wow, Matt looked great through those thrusters, making his move up there on Graham right next to him. These guys are all watching. You keep seeing Kenny Leverett looking over to see where everybody is. Matt's moving spectacular right now. But wow, Kenny, that reach that he has, he might as well be using his legs. He's jumping up that high and only having to pull 4 or 5 reaches every single time he goes up that rope so fast.
The time to beat still belongs to Gary Helmick. It's in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. And Kenneth Leverett has less than a minute to chase that down. Meanwhile, Matt Chan and Graham Holmberg on the right of your screen, and Dan Bailey now on their set of 2 rope climbs. And now the crowd here, the Southern California crowd, this is where Kenneth Leverett is from, rising to its feet to cheer Kenneth Leverett through his final 9 thrusters. 30 seconds to go before he hits the time to beat of 6:08.1 belonging to Gary Helmick.
Wow, he's moving so smooth right now. Not a flaw in those thrusters at all. He knows he just needs to get through this to quickly get back on that rope.
Graham Holmberg in lane number 10 is on the bar as well for his final 9 thrusters. So Leverett needs to hurry if he wants to take over the top spot. 8 seconds to go, and it doesn't look like he's going to make it. Gary Helmick will hang on to the top spot, but Leverett can win this heat and move into second place.
You know, he obviously felt that he was getting a little bit fatigued in those arms. You can see him starting to slow down a little bit.
Leverett is done.
Nice.
So Kenneth Leverett will win this heat, and he moves into second place overall so far, right behind Gary Helmick. Leverett a final time of 6:17.6 seconds.
You know, all these guys that really needed this. Graham Holmberg currently sitting in 28th place. He needs to do well here. Matt Chan currently sitting 24th place. He needs to do really well here. So these guys have to keep moving. They have to get through this event. They have to have a good time to improve their placing overall.
Right now, Matt Chan on the left, number 31, and Graham Holberg on the right are tied for second place. And there goes Matt Chan making his way up the rope. Graham Holberg has already failed on one attempt, and it looks like Matt Chan is struggling. He hangs on, but he cannot make it to the top. Holberg now, his second attempt, really using that kick to propel himself up that rope. And Holberg will make it, so Graham Holberg will finish in second place in this heat. Holberg a time of 7:04.8 seconds, and there goes Dan Bailey, and he can't make it either. So that last rope climb proving to be so difficult for these men.
They see the light at the end of the tunnel. They want to finish this event. They want to get through it. But you know what, again, it's like, what does your body have in the tank to be able to do that? I'll tell you what, man, Graham Holberg was impressive with his kipping. I think these other guys need to take a little lesson from that.
Frederick Agidius is across. He will finish in third as Matt Chan cannot get to the top. So Agidius finishing ahead of Chan and Bailey as he came from behind as Chan struggled on this final rope climb. He still has more than 2 minutes to go before the 10-minute time cap. But these seconds as they tick away, those are points that Chan is losing. He needs all that he can get to make his way up the leaderboard. There is Ben Smith. Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle Kasperbauer. Kasperbauer is in. So Kyle Kasperbauer finishing up ahead of Matt Chan and Dan Bailey. And now Bailey making another attempt at this thing. One more rope climb to go for both of these athletes.
Again, look at that. They're trying to use their hips. Oh, there he goes. He
Bailey
able
gets
to get up there.
And he will finish. Dan Bailey across the finish line, a time of 8:20.5 seconds. And now they will all cheer on Matt Chan, who has been stuck on this final rope climb. Chan, another attempt at his final ascent. Matt Chan pulling. Chan trying to dig deep here and get himself to the top, and the grip just gives out, and Chan is back on the ground.
He's had some problems with movements like this before. A couple years ago, when we had the killer cage. Again, he was having issues with the grip. When we had the bar muscle ups, he was having issues with the grip. So again, this is, I mean, his grip is giving out. When you have your hands overhead all that time, you lose all that blood. It makes it really, really rough. So again, he's at the wall now. He needs to stop, make sure he's rested enough to get this last rope climb.
Kyle Kasperbauer on the left, coaching Chan through this. He was also getting some advice from Frederick Agidius. Meanwhile, Marcus Philly to Chan's left on the right of your screen, getting ready for his last rope climb. Chan calling on this crowd to help him out here. Focusing, he has 30 seconds, so this will most likely be Matt Chan's final attempt here as he tries to get in inside the 10-minute time cap. 30 seconds to go. Matt Chan making his way up the rope as this crowd comes to its feet here. Chan needs a couple more good pulls here. He's still on the rope. The grip goes again, and he is down. So Matt Chan looking like he will not make it inside the 10-minute time cap with 2 reps to spare. But now there goes Marcus Philly. Philly can't make it to the top either. The final rope climb proving to be too much for some elite athletes with 4 seconds to go before we hit the time cap. But it's Kenneth Leverett who wins this heat, but the time to beat still belonging to Gary Helmick at 6:08 as Matt Chan gets congratulations from Kyle Kasperbauer. Kenneth Leverett there as well, the winner of the heat.
It's so amazing the split between some of these heat, between guys like Kenny Leverett, and then just amazing athletes like Matt Chan. Kenny made it look so easy. Matt looked like that's where everyone else would be, is struggling in that grip.
So Kenneth Leverett hung on to the lead for most of the race, but it was this man, Frederick Agidius,
slid right
up
in
on
there.
everybody else.
Just slid right in there. But again, you know, as long as you were able to stay consistent on that rope climb, that's what, in this particular event, that's going to move you up there.
In second place, Graham Holberg.
Fought the whole time, all the way through. Slowed down a little bit towards the end, but again, stayed smooth. Didn't waste himself out in the thrusters, and was able to get himself through on those rope climbs into the end there.
And then finally in first place, Kenneth Leverett.
California kid right there. He's an acrobat. Crazy, crazy, weird strength. I love seeing the weird workouts because he always puts on a great performance, exactly like what he did right there.
Full heat results for the third of 5 heats for the men. It's Kenneth Leverett on top. The only man inside of 7 minutes with a time of 6:17.6. Holberg finishing in second, followed by Frederick Agidius. 4 men at the top of the leaderboard. Only the men under 8. Heat 4 is on deck.